Yippee, now you get to face the trials of the job market.
I have already been dealing with that. So many rejections.
Yeah.
It is the life. But you know, I feel like c'est la vie is the right term that people use at this point.
Hmm.
C'est la vie.
Could be worse. You
My
could
condolences, but you got this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's life.
could be worse. You could be your own boss.
It's true. Basically am, because I've opened up another pay-to-play game to afford things. Anyways, on to businesses, as Legacy was saying. There's a lot. I've been so busy.
Okay, so first easiest topic would be about map tools.
Map tools,
Syrik,
yeah.
what's the status of Syrik props?
There's some edits. I want to do a bit more before I release an update for everyone. A lot of it's just kind of like fine-tuning some of the systems. The big thing, though, is I made the framework in the most recent version. I can't downgrade, so I have to go and revert now. Because 1.16.2 and 16.3 are kind of shit. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's been delayed because of that. It's not like a big delay, but it's, you know, an annoying delay.
So at most 15.2 then.
At 15.2, yeah. There's some issues with 15.2, but it doesn't break as badly as 16.2 or 16.3.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's 16.2 and 3 are so bad that I'm like, I might just switch to Foundry or Forge, or what the fuck it's called. Using the games that is impossible for me to use their framework with because it's unbound. And it's such a complicated framework that there's no way.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to like put it into Foundry.
Oh, they are. The issue is everyone who is willing to do it is like $2,000.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, they're like, that's a big drop in our budget. So
Yeah.
How do we want to go ahead with this?
I would
I'm not
say
actually entirely sure why it was raised as an issue, but I imagine people are trying to download the newest version and not working with servers.
Yeah.
So if we plan to staying on 13.2 or 15, we should re-announce it to clear up that confusion at least.
Yeah, we need to announce when that is officially supported by the servers that everyone should use, which I would say the most stable version is 15.2 at the moment. But I know people are using older versions and people are using newer versions. So as long as we mark which one is supported, and make sure everyone's like got that in eye, then it should be okay. Obviously, people will try different versions, and that could cause issues because one, you cannot downgrade a token from 16.2 to a 15.2 server, and that's the big issue why it's been brought up.
Yeah,
it's because people are in newer versions, and then when they go to old versions, things break. So we want to make sure people do not upgrade to 16. Which is one of the things is I tend to bring it to people after I've tested it heavily in my games, as I'll be like, this is the version we should use.
Currently, it's compatible with 13.2, right?
15 is compatible.
So give that PSA
it's just
and also add a note. We're looking at updating to 15, but to avoid 16.2.
Yeah, definitely need to do that. 15 is compatible with 13. It's just there'll be some things that look a little different. So
yeah, it's part of the reason why we haven't said anything is because we're testing out. Like, there's a reason we haven't said anything because we're making sure like everything is Gucci before we like.
Yeah, like the big thing with 15.2 is it's stable, but there's some things on it I don't like, so I didn't know if I wanted to tell the server to officially upgrade from 13.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been running 15.2 for so long now that I think it's clear that it's better than 13.
Okay.
Does that look about right?
Let me go check. Da, 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 da. Oh no, the visual issues are better in 15.2. The issue with 15.2 is some of the what's the word for it? There's this one bug that happens in 15.2 that's annoying, but it's.
Oh, is the bug that kept happening like where your map tools would crash?
That's something that happens sometimes, but that one's rare. It's an
Mm.
interface bug that happens, but it's like it's hard to describe it unless it's happened to me in the moment. But it's a tiny thing, and it rarely happens. And when it does happen, it's just breaks things.
Mm.
One of the other issues that happens in 15.2 is that if you are transferring macros from a token, from like the campaign frame to a token, it cannot be in the same group. So if you're trying to transfer like health, which is in the combat group, to health in your selection window, it will not let you do that. You have to put it into your like core group, and then you can move it from your core group in the selection window to that.
Okay, yeah.
So that it's a small bug. It's annoying, but it's not, and yeah.
Yeah.
So there's like tiny things like that are annoying. They're not to the point where I would say you should not use it. So once you know the minor stuff, I would say 15.2 is solid. It's even better than 13 in my opinion. But it's taken me a while to find all these little bugs. There's a lot of them, and to determine if they're worth ignoring 15.2. Yeah, it's just the same name group, so you can't put it in combat versus combat. I don't know why they don't allow that, but it breaks things and it doesn't transfer. I say they can use 13.2, but they probably should update to 15.2 when the framework update comes out, which should be soon. I just need to downgrade from 16, which is fucking annoying. Yeah, 13.2 is still officially supported. Is the official version of choice. 15.2 will be the new version of choice when I drop the framework update. 16, any 16 should be ignored. And I would just say don't upgrade unless you're willing to test versions out yourself. Regardless, until a new official version's been posted. So any GM who's like, oh, I see a new version's been slapped on here, let's download that. Just don't. Say no. Say no to drugs, kids. Yeah.
Well, drugs are expensive, Nerp. Like, come on.
Come on. I say it as my house is not, got the marijuana.
Yeah.
No, I don't partake.
True.
Anyways. Yeah, that's the big thing with the map tool version, is to avoid 16. 13 still official. It'll be updated to 15 soon. Allowing regional VP in events and NPC Inspiration Destiny. VP, when it comes to entities, should only be given to bosses or like highly notable figures. So my recommendation is just leave that for region heads as approvers of it in events and whatnot. I'm not against it being used in RP events or even specific NPCs. I would say just make sure you got approval for it first, because once it becomes a regional thing, it's essentially the team itself to decide with the region head specifically what it should be used for. Because at that point, it is regional villain points rather than a boss villain point or a mission villain point. If you want to slap it on down, feel free.
My suggestion there is I'd allow for some flexibility, like giving an event a pool of them to use, but yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, I mean, no, as long as you guys approve of it, have fun with your points. You guys have a fuck ton, might as well start using it.
Ooh. But also, like, make sure you're not, like, actively fucking players over, because the last thing we need is that slippery slope.
VP is definitely more intended as a a system to expand the world and create content. It should not be a way, as Kate said, to fuck over players. So what you have written there by Fritz, that looks perfectly fine. The top line there with the increasing the DC or the skill check DC, those values are very swingy, so I'd probably say to hone that in a bit more. So maybe like rather than 2d6, make it like a +3 to the DC or something like that. But
the 2d6 was brought up because we have a lot of players that are starting to reach like Pathfinder levels of checks where it's like +40 and all that.
How are they hitting +40s? Or are they using tools?
I believe it's tools. They're like tools, expertise, and all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're starting to hit Pathfinder levels of like, hey, I got a +40 in this, and it's like, well, maybe
tools. It makes sense for tools to be that insane, because tools are meant to utilize the crafting system, which have really high DCs. If they're hitting that in a skill check, that's something we need to discuss. So if it's like athletics, a +40 is insane, and it's not intended in the system design. So I need to know about that to fix it in SOD.
I think people are able to get to like 30s in skill checks, but what's it? That's wait, no. So what's it? Alchemist and Artificer, they get a lot of expertise, so they can have a lot of things that are like +10 to 12 really easily in skills, which like
but those two classes are also changing.
I also meant not a total of 40. I meant a +40. If
people are getting to totals of 40, not +40.
Totals of 40. Okay. That one, I can see that happening if they have like bardic inspiration plus their expertise plus a stat that's been maxed out. I can see that happening.
Lots of inspiration with crafting tools, and I don't know.
Yeah, if it's tool based, then that's that. Yeah, no, it's. I would recommend if you're doing events that are based on crafting to make sure you're setting the DCs with the knowledge that tools can get mastery. So, but I'll definitely, if people want to help, look at or adjust skill values and whatnot, that's totally something that should be looked at by balance team. I'm looking at it as well in terms of SOD. I know people who have access to the Spheres of Divinity book can look at it too. Obviously, it's not a huge focus of mine right now because I'm still kind of trying to finish up the equipment guide. I should be having another wave of content being dropped soon. Since I'm opening up another pay-to-play game, my focus is kind of shifted to that because it is money on my wallet that is kind of important right now. So, once I'm done prepping that, I'll be back to focusing up on the equipment guide. So, other than that, though, if people do want to work on a system that can rein in those values, feel free. I think a total of 40 is totally fine on a tool at this current level that people are at. Yeah, expansion should be updating a lot of things, making things get easier, I think. Yeah, Rogue is definitely on my list of update. I actually have done a huge update already. I took the things that people were doing in here. Like, I saw there was a Rogue update in here. I don't remember if it was in the Living World public forums or the DMs forums, but I grabbed a lot of the stuff that you guys were working on and put it in SOD as a placeholder right now and added my own updates. Because Rogue definitely feels bad with, so many things getting expertise. Which I think after having tested out heavily in the Living World and as, personal opinions that you're posting there, I keep trying to think of your old Living World name, but, Jaffa,
Taco.
yeah, Taco. I was like, that's not your name anymore, though, but it keeps popping up.
Call me Jaffa.
Yeah. But, I think expertise I might push away from in SOD, but I need to talk with this Spheres of Divinity team to see what they think. So, which reminds me, I still need to get with Red Heron, as Balin said, so we can have a real sit-down meeting and discuss stuff.
Have you started work on Rogue? This is going to be tangential.
I've done work on Rogue like 3 months ago, and I've done some work, like small little things every now and then since then. But let me just pull up the fucking book to see how far along I am.
One thing that could be cool is I don't know how deep anyone is, but like a cool thing that Rogue could do is maybe using skills in like special ways. So it's like to
Totally.
attack, you make a skill check and I don't know, do a backflip.
That'd be super cool. I agree. A lot of things I'm trying to do with the systems is like these core mechanics, like expertise that was considered a rogue specialty. I mean, also had Bard had it too, but like it was a rogue specialty in base 5e, or like fighting styles were considered like the fighters' bread and butter for the most part, or other like heavy martials. I'm wanting to make every class feel unique in how they play. So like Monk has combat combos, Barbarian has their Fury system, these individual systems. So like more basic things like expertise that are just very simple, but strong, aren't as class defining. But how the class plays that's something I'm trying to update. But let me pull up Rogue. Alright. From the looks of it, for Rogue, I have their levels 1 through 20 on the list. In terms of feature names. But I've not done anything beyond that. I also took a lot of the ideas that were posted in the Living World for Rogue. So like the puncture system was added on here. Which is basically like the ambusher trait, if I remember correctly. But like a way the rogues can further empower themselves.
Yeah, it was just an idea that popped up, so I was like, maybe I'll be useful.
Yeah. I do think one of the big things that probably will be going away somewhat in Spheres of Divinity is the vastness of skill differences. Because in base for Spheres of Divinity, once you're trained in something, it's not saying that thing's going to increase every time. And this is obviously something I need to discuss with the team. But as it is currently written, at level 1 in a class, or as a character, let's say you have proficiency in athletics, stealth, and perception. Those 3 skills, just for ease. Those 3 skills would get a +2 bonus from proficiency, as is standard 5e stuff. Here's where it differs. When you get to level 5, when your proficiency increases, it does not increase. Because Spheres of Divinity has a skill point system. And it's just those X skills are basically like your skills that are maxed out, and then you have your intelligence modifier that can give you additional skill points to add to other things. So whenever you level up to those proficiency grades, you can increase your focus on that skill or do something else. I don't know if I like that. I really liked it in older systems, but something I need to talk with the team about. So, but that's not something that's really going to be relating until after the equipment guide's out, so it's not been a huge pressing thing on my docket to talk with people about. But if you guys are wanting
back
to
onto the main topics, so prestige mission clarification.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Returning to that, if you guys are wanting to do like Spheres of Divinity specific updates, I know Red Heron has access to the book and their balance head, so feel free if you're doing like class updates and stuff to get with them, or Sithams, because Sithams has access to the book too. And then you guys can you use some of the design philosophies I have in there to kind of hone your direction.
I also have it.
Yeah, it does it too. I've given it to like a lot of people now. I don't remember who I gave it to.
Fine. I have it. I look through it every now and then.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things I've been working on recently has been the culture system in the book, at least. Anyways, that's a side tangent that we don't need to go into. In terms of prestige stuff, though.
Okay, so the prestige question is pretty simple actually, but basically the main question is that prestige missions don't have to be tied to player progression necessarily, right? Like they're not only for faction rank up missions, they can be for anything.
Oh yeah, they can be for anything.
It's more about missions that are beyond the difficulty of the tier of players that can join it.
They should be tied to the story itself and not to anything else. A faction rank up mission should by itself, by its very nature, not be prestige unless it is deserving of prestige, which is why all prestige missions require region head approval. If the story demands it to be prestige, cool. But by their nature, yeah, they can be anything. One of the things that we can discuss, if players are using it in this way, as a way to kind of like fuck over regions that they're like their characters hostile towards, we could just, I know in the past I've been against this, but we could mark it so Destiny cannot be used in downtime. Except for by civilians, because civilians can't be in games unless there's a civilian slot, which is rare. So
civilian feature, you can use downtime. You can use Destiny in downtime.
Yeah.
I guess that.
So that could help with that issue.
No.
Or you can make it be that you can only use it in your starting region or your home region if people want, or something we can do. But if it's becoming an issue where people are specifically going out and, as you put it, fucking players over in their region, or in that region, then it definitely needs to be adjusted, because that is an issue.
I mean,
it's I don't really consider it a fucking them over though, because it should not be a way to, like, VPs in our eyes are a way to further expand the story in that region. But them using it as a way to just say I win without any consequences. The consequences should be that, adding to villain points, which could cause things. So, and since we're going to be using villain points pretty soon to really amp up the current storyline we've been building for region meetings, probably best to limit that in the bud right now.
Okay. Who approved? They're not the fucking call, of course not.
Yeah, I do recall them asking for that being prestige. I don't remember who approved it.
So Fritz approved it, and asked for it. Ember broke it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Also,
I was the one who had Ember break it,
the other
technically.
weird thing that was going on there was what's it? Ember was on a mission.
Yeah, they were in my mission.
Yeah.
And they broke it in the mission because they basically sacrificed it to get a free feat.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, it's an attunement feat, so it's like an item. But yeah. But prestige should not just be I want this to be prestige. It's a harder mission. It should be more of. It can actually even be an easier mission. It's just something that it's notable. It's a notable accomplishment that would enhance your prestige in the world. Which is why killing dragons or hydras or things like that are notably very I can't remember the term for it.
Prestigious.
Prestigious creatures. If someone says I've killed a dragon, that's prestige worthy. You're a dragon slayer? Oh my god. You killed vampires? Oh my god.
I mean, you can make the mission hard without using prestige. That's neither here nor there. That's whatever.
I mean, prestige does allow you an increased pool of wealth rewards, which I feel like if you want more wealth rewards, there are other things you can do to do that, such as treasure hoard, which is what I did for my mission, because they defeated a boss that has a treasure hoard. So there's a lot of things you can do with it if you're just wanting a higher difficulty, which by that I mean increased stats. You can just check with your region head, see if you can't do something about that, or you can apply one of the stat tags that we have. If you're wanting it to be just more difficult in general, you don't even need stat boosts for that. You can just make there be more enemies, or maybe the enemies are tied towards more effective design. Because a lot of the monsters I design are more designed for flavor rather than for effectiveness. Because I can certainly make my monsters much deadlier if I wanted to. I would also recommend, if you are making monsters, even the mooks all should have something if you want to be dangerous. An action that they can do, an action that is at ranged or an area effect, and bonus action. If you want them to be really deadly, a bonus action that is also an area effect for safer half, so they will always be doing damage regardless. And then, some special stuff that can do fun things, like auras or something like that. Those three things, giving them an action that can hit at melee or ranged, an action that is both an attack, and then an action that's a save, and then a bonus action, same thing. Especially if the bonus action is a save for half, that will increase the difficulty by a lot. Even if it's mooks that have this. Because mooks generally are just seen as, you just kill them and it pops, it's fine, they're not really a threat. But if you give them that ability where they can bonus action cause damage, they're a threat. And that greatly increases the difficulty of a mission. Because the big thing is a lot of people can just, pop them before they do anything, or they don't do enough damage, or they can never hit. So ways around that is to give them features that can do damage, or if they're not really designed for doing damage, give them features that boost those that would. So like a mook that has the protector trait, so any allies within 5 feet of them have boosted AC or boosted damage or XYZ. So mooks become a thing that needs to be killed to kill the things that are actually a threat. All things you can do with that.
Banelings.
Say again?
I'm gonna make banelings for my next mission.
Yeah. Anyways, there's a lot of things posted in chat I should read.
I will note that Fritz and Int are not actually in the VC.
Oh. They've been responding it. It's been like they've been though. Like the
Yeah,
responses
no,
are basically like 1-to-1.
I said this. They need to, if they're gonna do this, they need to get VC.
And neither is Gogi.
Googie's never in a meeting. That's irrelevant.
Let's see here. Oh fuck! I just remembered something. Okay, I'll deal with that later. I would say if you burn a city down, I know Fritz isn't in the call, but if you burn a city down, but no one knows you did that, and you save the city single-handedly or with a group of people, then maybe you get the prestige. And maybe the prestige is removed if you are found out for being the asshole who did it. That's just me.
Yeah.
If it's a prestige-worthy event, and no one knows that you caused the event to happen, then I'm okay with prestige being given.
That's actually a good point, LMAO, but yet I was using that as an example for the mission in question, which was someone broke their faction item and is trying to repair it now.
Yeah, no, I was the one who broke it. Technically they broke it, but I was the DM, so. Yeah, for that particular mission, I would say, unless the way to fix it is worthy of prestige, it should not be prestige. If you want more rewards, just make it a treasure hoard mission.
Is Sleepless in 2 games?
My game's ended like a month ago. It's just I'm still working on their loot, and I've been so busy prepping for my pay-to-play game that I haven't been able to finish their loot. Also, making the speaker class is pain because I have writer's block right now, and it's super annoying.
What I'm hearing is if we release a patron in the world and we put it back in, there's possible prestige.
Potentially.
Shut the fuck up, Kurt.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up, because I know exactly what you mean.
Staff. We need to update the mission doc and probably release a staff side announcement clarifying how prestige missions work and that they go through region discussions, but are not strictly difficulty related.
Yeah. Let's see here. Beach Jerry. That's where prestige is marked most commonly, is in the trait list. No, that's also marked in the mission.
Yeah.
Okay. I think this might be the cause. People might not be looking at the mission document where it describes prestige, because the prestige tag says the monster's tougher than standard, which might be why people are like, oh, it's just a harder mission. But in the mission document, a mission with the tag prestige is more prestigious.
So I guess that is one thing to mention. For something to be marked as a prestige mission, I know that because we do things based on milestone. Would that be such that if you had a prestige mission that ran for like 2 to 3 milestones, would every single milestone have to be prestige, or would it just have to be like one? Or
the mission itself is prestige. So completing the mission would grant the prestige.
Okay, but with our milestone system, it's like, at what does just one of them have to be the prestige milestone if it's a prestige mission?
If you're on a mission that say like kill a bandit king to save the village, and the bandit king is so well known that it's worth prestige, that is obviously very clear which one is the prestige trigger. If it's like explore and find the ancient ruins of Zaxardoth, obviously that is a multifaceted milestone because it's not just explore, it's also find and explore. So I would say everything that's related to the prestige would need to be toggled yes. So just finding Zaxaroth is not worth prestige, but finding it and exploring it, coming back with that information would be. Which is why For prestige missions, if you ask for tag, my thing is the mission needs to be completed successfully. So,
because I know what's it? Say you had like a longer mission, and like the prestigious thing is they found, or I don't know, they pulled Excalibur,
mhm.
whatever. And it's like, okay, they did that, and then they go back and fight some guy, and it's like, oh, it's just some guy. Who cares? Moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what's it? When do you have to define it as that prestige mission? Because I know like some things are optional. If say like the objective is optional, could you just be like, this isn't a prestige mission, but you could go do this prestigious thing if you wanted to?
Well, that's where you have prestigious creatures, or you could make it like a prestigious challenge. Those have different levels of how they're gained. So, like if you're doing a mission, you have to beat the mission itself. The mission has to be completed to gain prestige. If it's a challenge or event or side objective or optional thing or whatnot, like killing a dragon, you have to kill the dragon to get prestige. If it's like a maze, like, I don't know, let's go with Greek mythology. If it's like the ancient Greek maze with the Minotaur in it, and you find the center, the labyrinth, yeah. Getting to the center of the labyrinth and escaping successfully, that itself is a challenge. I would consider that a challenge prestige. A prestigious challenge. So they have different ways of accumulating prestige or calculating prestige, but they're all different things. But prestigious mission is always based on mission completion. If you're using a creature of that nature, I would probably check with your GM just to make sure it's okay.
No.
Yep, they're in a session.
Just gonna type.
The answer is just check with your region head.
Yeah, pretty much.
There you go.
That's
the answer to half of this.
For voices, though, for people in voice recording and whatnot.
Actually, the mission document says that prestige adds 100% to the entire XP modifier. Now, is that applicable even if it's just one encounter that is prestigious, or like one challenge, one anything?
Not the XP modifier. It says 100% to the wealth and loot reward. And then 50% to the magic item reward cap. And that's the cap. It's not saying you have to give them that, it's just your cap's increased.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The experience gain is still the same for a prestige mission. You just get prestige at the end.
But encounter XP modifiers has prestige as a plus 100%.
Yes, that is if the encounter is prestigious. There's a difference between a mission that's prestigious and an encounter that's prestigious. Because both can give you prestige. Like the dragon example, for example. If you were having a mission, let's say you're trying to go kill the Cinder King from a critical role. I would consider that both a prestigious encounter, because Cinder King is certainly fucking prestige worthy, and the mission itself, saving the entire country, pretty fucking prestigious. So that'd be a double whammy. By saving this country, by killing the Cinder King, that right there is a prestige mission completion. So you'd have that tag added to the mission entirely. Everything leading up to kill him is prestigious. Then killing him, because he is a prestigious monster, would apply the encounter prestige tag as well to him specifically. So if you fail to kill him, but somehow you still complete the mission, you would still get the prestige mission reward, but you would not get the prestige encounter reward. But if you do both, then you get that plus the prestige encounter. So a lot of things you guys can work with.
I do have a little plot blurb for the young dragon encounter thingy, because I would imagine it wouldn't be a prestigious mission, but you are tasked by a noble house to not kill the dragon. Now, would that be prestigious mission to achieve it without actually murdering the little dragon?
I would say check with your region head for that.
Very well.
The dragon itself is prestige, though. All true dragons are prestige creatures.
There's also other dragon-ish creatures. Officially licensing-wise, we can't ever, sell the fact that we use them, but, Behirs are cool.
I do
They're
like
awesome.
Behirs.
I love Behirs. No one remembers they exist.
They are great.
I've seen one once, and I think I had it as a pet or some shit.
Well,
Not a game. It was cool.
The only thing that matters there is Behirs. Literally, you cannot trademark dragons because if that was the case, they'd have to go to fucking Tolkien and go, hey, by the way, I want to use dragons every single time or some shit.
Dear Frodo, please give me access.
Yeah, like, dragons are in fact not trademarks.
But yeah, I'm just... Dragons are neat, but I'm also being like, hey, there's other creatures too that are...
It's true. I do recommend people use other creatures, like bullets. Very nice. Though I feel like that's because Dungeons Dragons Heroes, the Xbox game, really sold me on that creature. It was really fun boss fight with them.
Wasn't Baldur's Gate the one just leaping into your face?
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a great encounter.
Oh, I have a quick question because I'm about to head out.
Mhm.
In this meeting, are we going to talk about any of the Ruby Queen stuff? Any updates on that?
That's for adventure meeting.
That's for adventure meeting. It might be the same day,
Nice.
but I do have a game that starts at 4:30 my time. So there's a time limit on my end at least, so we might be able to get to it, but we might not.
Not everyone is privy to that information for reasons.
Okay. All right. Well, all right.
Actually, speaking of timing, so Wednesdays around this time, do you think would be better for weekly meetings?
For me, definitely. Yeah.
Better for Europeans. Looks decide.
I mean, yeah, this is fine. This should be fine.
Yeah, no, for the Ruby Queen stuff, it is a region head meeting and DM meeting. It's very much a heavy plot point thing, so if you are wanting to participate in it, you should probably recuse. As a region head, obviously, region heads should be there because it's dealing with their region, so even if they want to recuse, they're in the land of sadness. But as a GM who might have a character, might not want to hear it.
We can always do other times for side meetings too, but regional will probably need to be later.
Yeah.
Also Mondays at our old time around 8 p.m. Central, do you think that works as a secondary time?
It does work as a secondary time. The big thing is I might be busy some Mondays at that time.
That's fair.
Especially now that summer's sitting, because if it's sun's out, fun's out. I might not want to be home. But I'll try my best.
Cool.
But I also have had several things happen on Sundays, or Mondays. Sundays, 100%, but Mondays too. So. I thought it was announced 3 days ago. They're not on the call, are they?
It was in fact announced 3 days ago, yes.
They're not on the call.
No.
Can I also say it in voice? The proposition.
Joe?
Just have all events standardize your arrival as just being in plain clothes. Like any items that you would otherwise have, to RP would have to be declared at the beginning. So you can only trade things you get from the event and things you bring in overtly at the beginning.
That would involve the person running the event to have to track literally everything.
Yeah. And most
You
people will
are-
probably just say that I bring everything on my sheet with me.
Yeah, like
Mm,
that requires 3 times more work.
It is a good idea in theory,
theoretically,
but it does.
'cause I was
Kate
thinking
say,
for the
work.
naval stuff. If you had everything on you and you were on the ship, everything on you would have been at risk of water damage
Yes.
or worse.
Yes, which is why I encourage RP event runners to make sure you take things appropriately.
It would have been a shame if you ruined some nice blueprints you had with you.
It would. Paper is dangerous when it comes to water or fire.
Their kind hate ice and fire both.
Reading through chat again. Trading has been an issue in RP events Legacy, yeah. Essentially, you can trade freely in missions.
Mhm.
You don't need to use any downtime or anything like that, and people are using RP events to do the same thing as within the same location they can trade. They don't need to do any like post-its or anything like that, and while it does work, it's sometimes it can be an issue as people specifically go to events not to participate in the event, but to use it as a free trade. And that's kind of breaking the spirit, which I think is what Fritz is getting at. I don't want to put words in there. Okay, cool. I'm right. I got it. I did it.
You could definitely have trades require sending mail, even if it's arranged within an RP event.
Yeah. We could have it require mail, as you're saying, yeah. Or you could have it as an event runner to say trades are not allowed in this event.
Because I feel like they want to trade because travel takes a while.
Or you could say that anything that was not on your person upon arriving is locked in because this event is being housed within the guild or within an alternate dimension, or you're astrally projecting. If you want to give a in-game reason why it doesn't work, if you don't want to allow trade for an event, because the guild sigil is useful in that it can get you wherever you need to
the
be.
in-character reason I think would be like it's illegal LMAO.
You could do that too, but I think the easiest one is because we have the sigil, which allows you to teleport to your mission no matter where you're at. We could just, be like, the sigil astrally projects you to the event. You can't trade things. You can get things from it because the sigil will just, send it your way for the reward for the mission because the, guild will, send it your way eventually, but that is an official reward of the guild. Or what have you. There's ways to around it if you want to in-character reason why it works, or if you're wanting to just mitigate it further but not fully, you can say you can only accept gifts up to X pounds.
Has there been a discussion around getting a budget of VP to use in boss encounters? Because I know you mentioned it once. Of just
you can use it.
Yeah,
if
we
it's
discussed
like a
that earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just ask your region head basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they're like tied to the region itself, yes. If they're just like some guy,
No,
because you needed like abandoned encounters, so your mission pacing felt nicer.
Mm-hmm. Just add higher stakes to get like a little budget and just tell the players, I use VP to add whatever or reroll or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely add some stakes and consequences.
Is this missing anything?
I would say assume inventory lock is on unless the event runner stays otherwise during the event's creation. We could do that too. I know travel costs have been an issue of late, and we have been lowering them. But because of the limited nature of civilians in the world, which were the main way that people would be able to get guides to make it cheaper, which encourages RP, obviously with the lack of those, maybe we just need to reduce the cost again. Because like we've reduced costs before, because beginning when the economy was set the way it was, that didn't really work. So yeah. Well, one thing we could do is, for people who want to act as guides, is just have it be in every region's notice board. These are the active guides that are willing to act as a guide. You do not need to find them. You just simply need to say, hey, I want to travel, and they will spend the time. If they agree.
Yeah, that would skip a lot of, where is this person? I need to find them first.
Yeah.
You can just say, this guide, I want him, them, whatever. And you just give them money, and that's it.
Yeah, a lot of things we could do is just be like, here's a board of things that people you need. Don't worry about finding them. Don't worry about all that extra stuff. If you want to, I encourage it, because RP is good, but yeah. Hello. Welcome, Sithams.
Hold on.
Yeah. Well, Fritz types with their thing. What's next on the agenda? I need to do those updates for Imperial still. Who was the one who was suggesting them to have like magical levitation flight instead of wings?
Oh, that was me.
Gotcha. Any suggestions you have, feel free to send my way, or just ping me again in the balance channel, because I'm going to be updating that race soon.
Cause what's it? I think a lot of like pick and choose stuff is good because you can kind of just like build your own dragon. But in terms of like flights, if they're meant to be more Eastern, or what's it? If they're meant to be based on Imperial dragons, some of them did have wings, or they were thought to have wings, but a lot of them were considered like a lot of depictions you don't really see have
Yeah.
wings.
No, I
in
get
that
you.
area.
The only
They're
reason
more
I
like
gave them wings is, one, it made sure that their fly speed was tied to every other fly speed's balance, where it is limited based on your space.
yeah.
Which gives power to the fly spell.
Like what's it? Levitation is like way more powerful than just regular flying. But in terms of like what those dragons would do, like it would
They just basically
if
float through the
if it's a
air.
high investment, that is what they would do rather than like fly
Yeah.
traditionally. And then the other, it's because the reason why I looked at it so closely was because in the back I got like my own I don't know if I'll ever get to the point where I'll bring him out, but I got like a little dragon hiding somewhere. That's That's that type of dragon that the region heads already know about. And so it's like, I know what I understand about these guys. So yeah,
Yeah.
they're a forest fire dragon.
Yeah. We could do a hotfix for that if people want.
I think it would just be like, for I, eh,
We could do.
is anyone an Imperial already except for the one person who unlocked it?
They're not a one
One
yet.
person.
No one's won because it's not officially been released to the public. They just can
Yeah.
see what it is. But they will be coming in Imperial, and then no one else can until, they make a new character or reincarnate.
Yeah. So I think as long as like the levitation thing would be a very high investment to have, I think would be like the most flavorful of things you could ever add to it. And then yeah, I'm just rereading what I think. Award in flavor if it isn't in mechanics. Because even though that because I remember or recall somewhere Imperial dragons are actually kami that have ascended
Yes.
like past that. And so while they shouldn't be limited on their ward like what kami are, they should have some remnants of it. Where it's like either it's just like a sentimental object or just
Yeah.
like something that actually still empowers them.
I agree. I remember seeing those things, and I just haven't been able to touch Imperial in a bit. If you want to make mechanics for it, I would love to not have to worry about updating Imperial. Otherwise, I just wanted if you can at me in the channel where that's been posted, so I can have that marked as unread.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, in terms of the monk update, I would say they're probably at about 80% as well. Just checking to see. Okay, they're in the chat. Cool. While Artificer, in terms of what I've been doing with them, I would say they're probably about 40%. My focus is switched to speaker, so unfortunately. But it's a unique casting system, and life is pain. Yeah, no, it's definitely a big gap. With this update from Upkeep, we should be able to get the new numbers, and I think I know we're planning on another wave, but with those numbers, I think we should be able to get it during next meeting. Or at least announce a wave next meeting. Oh, that's weird.
We can close up that gap so we know who we're focusing on that's active I think yet.
Yeah.
Or at the very least gives us a list of who to contact and remind to be more active or be removed.
Definitely, we should remove them in advance of the wave. What do you mean by that? I see. I don't want to just like slap people's tags away without any forewarning, so definitely should talk with them. But if it's repeat offenders, I would say, yeah. If you are just taking up a slot, just take up a slot. Then, let us know. Give you hiatus. Very easy to do. Monday is definitely the best for region meetings, just because that's when all region heads are available. Hopefully, I'll be around next Monday. Actually, let me check the calendar. Yeah, I should be around next Monday. It should be noted, though, from Thursday of next week, so the 29th.
We'll give them.
From the 29th of May to the 5th. Actually, I won't be back until 6th. To the 6th of June, I'm gone. So I cannot have any meetings around that time because I will be in Hawaii. And obviously, I have my phone on me, and I could technically be in a meeting, but I'm not going to because I'm going to be in Hawaii. But when I get back, though, we can get back to this standard schedule. Hopefully,
I think we'll
return
give
to
them
weekly.
a heads up and then re-verify before we open up. And if they're still just squatting by then they're gone, so we can open a wave right as we open the server to the public so people can come in and immediately get involved in character building and invested.
It should be kept track of in Lorekeeper.
No,
Yeah.
Legacy posts there whenever upkeep gets updated, but
yeah,
it's been a hot minute.
Let's see here. In terms of other days, the Sunday time, it's rare when that can happen. I know my Cretaceous Creations team. We're looking actually having meetings on Thursdays now, so it might open up more. But Sundays are definitely better for me in terms of early Sundays, so like 10 a.m. early, which would be like 11 a.m. CST. But yeah, that one's related on some other things. But they used to meet Sundays. My game design team from university, but we just scheduled one for this week on Thursday. So I feel like Thursdays might be our new day. I do not know if that's going to be always the case. I just know that's our most recent meeting scheduled by the leaders in the team. Yeah, when Monday best for regionals, Wednesday for generals. Those are the best times for me in terms of availability. Anything else on the docket? Oh, in terms of equipment guide update, I'm making some solid progress on things. So you should be seeing more drops to World Anvil soon. I know people were wanting me to release some things early. I might do that. I just need to look at that thing on suggestion box again to make sure, and then post those updates to Balance Team, and then
Make sure to drop them in work in progress duplicate pages.
Yeah, that too. But should see updates for that soon. and I'll make sure to post it to you guys first. I know, right? It's a curse. It's also annoying I can't make it require specific passwords without paying an extra $150 a month. Or a year. Month? A lot.
You know, it's a lot.
World Anvil, like, upgrading stuff is so freaking expensive.
Yeah. Does not have version control now. Yeah, that's the only thing I really used from that tier of World Anvil was version control, or not version control. That's what we don't have. Was passwords.
That's
Oh,
why it's why a lot of the Unchains had the password for Syrik.
Yep.
as
But
well,
now
I
they
don't know if
don't.
you saw in World Anvil feedback, but I did make the foci crafting pages and weapon crafting pages public because people couldn't access them for downtime or something.
Oh,
so,
they couldn't access them?
they were still set as drafts, so
Oh.
they were not showing up.
Mm.
Or not drafts, they were set up as whips.
I see.
Yes, that is in fact the reason why you no longer need to type Syrik when you go into Unchained classes.
Yeah.
Not that it'll matter, because once we like go into SOD, it's ours.
Yep. Everything will be our words, our design, so we don't have to worry about copyright anymore. Cool. In that case, I will ask this. Is there anything anyone here would like to bring up or note down?
I had a thought, but it was gone.
Damn.
Bring it back.
I can't. I've been trying to for the past minute.
I do like that idea, Zahudi. And then I realized we've been doing that for the design documents for Dinos TD, and it becomes a pain. Because at a certain point, when a Google Doc gets that big, it lags everything up.
Also,
And
I'm
we're
gonna-
definitely get that big. Oh, you were saying something, Systems?
So
I was
who's
just
not
saying,
VC?
Yeah, Zudi's not in VC.
No.
Mhm.
It's
He's
a
running
curse.
game.
It's a curse.
No,
The only thing
I think they're playing a game.
running gameplay, one of the two. The only thing I was going to bring up is only thing I have outstanding is just all the backed up stuff in Divinity.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, because you need to discuss about the Asmodeus. I know that's one you posted me about, which I haven't marked as
Yeah.
unread.
Yeah, and the other two are just more gods.
Gotcha. I know you're wanting them to be like a primal, right? Like a core embodiment of the cosmos, basically, right?
Yeah, and again, it doesn't have to be Asmodeus or whatever. I just wanted to have an actual like proper divinity rather than because again, it's just a case of it feels like I've seen a million stories where I'm stealing someone else's powers, and that's fine. It's cool, but
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah. I think your idea of making Lucifer their brother and they were the good one would work really well. So if you do want them to be a primal entity and Lucifer is still the primal entity, but they were the one that was basically betrayed by Asmodeus, that would work. As keeping them both as a primal.
Sure.
Or maybe Lucifer is just like the little brother and got the bad rap for everything.
Yeah, I'll write something up.
Yeah.
With it.
People were wondering, Syrik does use archangels as a pantheon of deities. So like Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, and so on and so forth. Raphael, yeah. Those deities are from Ezekiel's, one of actually currently listed as a patron too.
Does that mean Azazel's an archdemon?
Yes. Technically, it might be a devil, but
yeah. Quick question, actually. This just came up recently because Avivet is making a Infernal contract. Did Dispater die, or is he still Lord of Dis?
The only primal or like archdevil, archdemon thing of that nature that is officially dead at this point in time. Everything else is, if you need them to be alive, cool. If you don't, I haven't done anything with them. Would be Baphomet. That's the only one that's been officially killed by my players.
Sounds good.
So if you need them to be alive, cool. If you don't, if you need someone else to take over, feel free.
This was mostly a case of somebody asked the devil who is from Dis, "Hey, who's the Lord of Dis?" And I'm like, "I'll get back to you."
Fair.
Here is a thought. This is mostly an Eldaria thing, but there's two Eldarian heads here. So Bill turned himself in before he retired?
He retired because he was wanting to use the character in the Monday game and didn't have time to bring like.
Yeah, but also at the same time he retired while turning himself in. What I don't know. I figured I might as well ask.
If it's just a hard retire, it doesn't matter. He's gone.
No, it was.
He want.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That's all we need to know.
Yeah, if he was hard retired, he's gone. It's done.
Well, we didn't have an answer on that. I asked in Eldaria chat, but didn't think I saw a response.
We did. I didn't see a response in chat. So I figured I would just be like, "Hey, you're here." Bam, bam, bam.
Because if the Eldarians didn't kill him, players were going to kill him.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably, if he had that much of a rap sheet, a lot of laws, like the ones that are like really severe crimes, do have just execution, so he probably is hard retired. But seeing as Legion heads are saying he is, then yeah, he's hard retired.
I think he had like cohorting with a demon or something on there and turning himself.
For Eldaria, that's probably death. Yeah,
yeah.
It's probably death. He's probably dead. He probably is dead and locked away, so people cannot bring him back.
Meanwhile, Lords Vistavar literally making a deal with the devil in front of other people.
No one said our players are smart.
You just gotta do it in the right region, right? Right?
Yeah, Persia doesn't really care about devil.
As a side note, it is very likely the Whispering Knights crew will be back playing games. So, since they will be using the same rules as everyone else in the living world, I just want people to think about that and bring up any concerns that they have. I know people have had concerns with stream games being able to interact with things. So, let me know.
I think it's odd, but fine.
Obviously, if we're playing again, we'll go back to not having the players interact in any games and stuff like that's fine.
Yeah, like I like you guys being able to interact, but I know people have had concerns in the past, but that might have been because you were on like different rule sets or different level caps or something like that. But like the only different rule set that you've ever really been in is that you guys don't have downtime the same rate. But
yeah, now I can say I've beaten up Evangeline Bam Bam. I think that's cool.
oh, we do have a static proposal, yeah. In terms of statics, I know there was a discussion on it of bringing up the idea that statics should be 3 guaranteed, and then an open 3 slots that are drawn like any other game.
Yeah, but it's not going to change anything.
What do you mean?
Because at any moment, the DM with 3 open slots can just quote unquote choose the same players that they had before.
Yeah, well, that goes into the scheduling system that's being worked on, where they would be required to use it.
Mm-hmm.
But that is something that should be kept in mind. Yeah. Yeah, they are level 9, so they are at tier 3 right now. At least I'm pretty sure it's level 9.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, they're 9.
So that is obviously a concern for you guys. Not that, high level characters don't exist in the world already. Like if someone went to go talk with like one of the dragon lords of Ildiria, I'm like, well, have fun with that. Don't piss them off.
Oh no, the thing I'm joking about was just an event I ran and Snake Eyes nat 20s.
Oh.
And Eva used her lucky item to not make it a Snake Eye.
I see. Yeah. I do feel like people trying to interact from string game boons. I feel like I need to make it very clear that they have the same access to everything everyone else would have access to. That way they're like, oh, I can get them for stream game stuff. And that doesn't exist. But I can also see, in terms of your earlier concern, Zinkus, the living world tearing up somewhat soon. I think people are getting somewhat close to the cap. It's been a while since I looked at the
right
level,
now.
but
People who are in games are getting to the cap.
yeah.
Out of games should be like mid-level 8, I think, at this point.
Yeah, there was the kind of issue with civilians kind of being very difficult situation when they reach 8.
Yeah.
Because their XP gain is definitely not going to reach tier cap for at least a year.
That's fair. I do agree with you there, Legacy. We probably should go in more depth in terms of static conversations in a future meeting, just to make sure people are aware that that is on the docket, and to show up with thoughts, concerns, especially for GMs. So we should ping them in addition to just pinging staff. So definitely want GM's opinions on that, because they're the ones who really deal with it the most. Yeah, that'd be good too. Yeah. We know our players would prefer a smaller region pool, but obviously that's not really a viable option.
A lot of people don't understand the consequences that come with that.
Yeah.
And very much need to understand what that comes with before they answer.
But it's good to get an idea of how the players feel, so it's good to have them.
I think they just want people to be together easier.
I think that's the case, yeah. So I think the idea of making travel cheaper would help with that.
Because as much as Dr. Monty is fun to RP with, it's like the only person I RP'd with for a while because he's just the DM of the region.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah, for that legacy. And that would be a good thing to ask the community, Fritz. Kind of get a gauge of where they stand, things that we could work on, things that we can improve, things that people like what we're doing. Especially now that I'm out of university, I can give more time to this. Hopefully, in like a week or so, when I'm done prepping my pay-to-play game, I can really focus up and help out again. Yes. I know you're not on call, but yes.
Yes.
Mhm. Indeed. Crash well. Crash with good sleep. But it does seem like a lot of what we have for future would be in future meetings, so there would be more in-depth conversations. So I think, as you're saying, this is a good time to call it. People do have other things that they want to discuss. Feel free to post in stuff for general meetings. My DMs are open, though I tend to check Firehouse more often. I know there's some things in Firehouse I need to read. But, you know, if you need anything, if it's very important, feel free to ping me and then ping me like twice more. Just make sure I'm like aware it's important.
Filed all the suggestions to Empyrean to make them more flavorful.
Shiny. Appreciate it. This meeting is recorded. Yeah. I didn't get the very beginning of it, but I got Legacy saying congrats for graduating, and then everything past that. So, like, the first
That's
minute
fine.
is...
We didn't talk
is
about
not-
anything about up to that point.
Yeah, it was basically nothing. It was just like, hi, how are you? Welcome to the meeting. And then,
Congratulations.
yeah, pretty much. So, I got the entire meeting. We're good, and I am going to go and save it in a moment. But I hope you guys all had a good one. Have had a good, long break from the last meeting, because it's been a while. And hopefully we can get back to our normal schedule. So, you would be nice to prove them wrong, because I'm going to be uploading it as soon as I end the call. Or the call. But
Yeah.
until next time, I appreciate everyone's help, all that good stuff, all the work you've been doing, and all that. And I'm going to drop the recording here.